and hopefully allow you guys to change some things about the outcome of 2018 as it relates to where you are right now in 2017. I'll do a quick introduction of myself. My name is Rick Jiha. I've been selling real estate for 37 and a half years. I've been coaching and speaking for about the last 20 years. I've owned as many as 7 real estate franchises at one time. Today, I just enjoy my life selling and coaching and speaking. I'm out of the franchise ownership business, and I help other franchise owners grow and build their offices and keep their teams running at a high level. I am Dave's coach, and I'm honored to have a chance to talk to all of you. What I want to start with is, first, I don't generally do talks with a sweatshirt on, but I was traveling today. Number 2, I want to tell you how much I admire Dave and Allison for deciding to use a very expensive coaching call to try to benefit everyone else in terms of building their business. This business planning workbook that we use is really, really vital to helping you get a jump start. Essentially, we have 2 months left in the year, and having this business plan workbook filled out and ready to go will help you have a better last 2 months, and it will be very, very effective for you having a tremendous year in 2018. So most of you have it in front of you. I'm going to, it looks a little like this. This is a black and white copy of it. It says the business plan workbook from Workman Success Systems. I'm going to hope that you have it all in front of you. The reason that we do these business plans like this is that it allows you to start with a mindset of what works and what doesn't work. And more importantly, it allows you to get this head start. A lot of people underestimate the power of you believing and thinking about what's possible in the next year that you have not created this year. More importantly, we don't see anybody having their best year ever say, gosh, I had my best year ever. I hope next year is worse. No one ever says that. They always want to have a better year, whether this year was your worst year, a medium year, or your best year. So keep that in mind as we go along. I want to bring up the first page, and I want to remind you all that you have Dave as a resource, and if there's anything Dave can't handle, he has me as a resource. So the first page is this one, mission statement. The mission statement is very important for setting up an idea about who you are, where you're going in your business. Now, one of the great things about this is that Dave probably has a mission statement for his Next Home franchise. Next Home, as a franchisor, has a mission statement. You can copy that, or you can create one of your own. Now, they've given you an example here. I actually had a couple of my coaching clients this year use that example word for word as their mission statement. Not very creative, and, well, it's a shortcut. What I'd love for you to do is read it, not right now, but decide, is that who I am? Is that how I want to be? I have a nickname called Freedom Pathfinder. So I like to say I help people get on and find their path to freedom and help them execute that so that they can have freedom in their life through my real estate sales, coaching, and speaking. Now, that's just an idea of what you might be possible. Sometimes people's mission statement has something to do with their background, their future, their name, all kinds of things. Like, for instance, Athena, I hope you don't mind I use you as an example. Athena is the name of the goddess of love and wisdom. So you say, through my name, Athena, and love and wisdom, I help guide my clients through an experience in real estate, and you could do something like that. The beautiful thing about it is there's no limit to what a mission statement can do. And even if it takes you a little while to work through it, go through a couple scratch ones, rough draft them. And then when they're done, have it be everywhere. Have it be an announcement of who you are and what you're about. You'll want it on your paperwork. You'll want it on your folders. You'll want it on everything that you present to clients. So this is really a big deal. We've given you a blank. Now, one of the great things about this workbook, and I don't know if David printed it for you or emailed it to you, but if he emailed it, it's an editable PDF, meaning you can fill it out right on the computer, and you can do it over and over again. Now, what I like to do personally is print it up, scratch it out in pen and pencil, and then finally put the final version on the computer. So I'm going to stop right there, and we'll come back to questions towards the end on mission statement. But please, there is something about business, and they are mission, vision, values, beliefs, and perspectives. I'm going to repeat that: mission, vision, perspectives, beliefs, and vision. All of those things are very, very important in terms of figuring out who you are, why you're doing this thing that you call real estate. Of course, most of us are doing it to make money, but there's lots of other ways to make money. Why is it that you picked real estate? And for a lot of people, it's, wow, I can make good money, I can make it in less time, and I can help people have a better life through my actions of selling real estate. The next one is the one that brings people a lot of frustration. It's called your SWOT analysis. And the SWOT analysis is, I'd like to say it's simple, and at the same time, it might be one of the most difficult forms you've ever filled out. Now, as you can see right there on that page, you have that page that explains it. And this is the page most people skip over, believe it or not. They go right to the blank form, which is this one right here, and start filling it out without having read the instructions. So I'd love for you to, not necessarily right now, but go through these and work through what they mean. So, for instance, strengths are your strengths. Notice it says the word internal. And then under opportunities, it says external. Remember, opportunities and threats, ladies and gentlemen, this will be a very simple way for you to understand it, are things that are happening externally that you have no control over. So you might say opportunities, excellent average sale price, excellent affordability index, excellent interest rates. Those might all be opportunities, but they're not things that you personally control. Now, when you look at your strengths and your weaknesses, those are all things in your own control. And a lot of people spend a lot of time outlining their weaknesses when really you want to start focusing on your strengths. You want to list your weaknesses so you know where you'll get support, where you will get help. Those are all very important. But under opportunities and threats, and I'm just looking down at my paper here, you really, really want to be considering that these are items that you don't control. Like I had somebody write the other day, threats. And under threats, they wrote that I won't lead generate enough. And that's not a threat. That's a weakness. You not lead generating enough is a weakness. A threat might be interest rates going up, or too much inventory, too little buyers. You know, those are the kinds of things that are out of your control. So look that over, and then really what I'd love for you to do is be proud of yourself for your strengths, and don't be embarrassed of your weaknesses. Everybody has strengths and weaknesses, and at least knowing them is the best foot forward in figuring out where you're going to go and where you're going to need help. A lot of people come into real estate and say, well, I'll hire an assistant once I get busy. And really, we always like to say, if you don't have an assistant, you are one. So you just have to decide in your mind how long you're going to do duties that take you away from the things that make you the most amount of money. These items that I'm talking about right now all fall under your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So, all right. So that's that on that page. And now, as you know, I showed you a blank page, and what you can notice, we give you a couple of them. And the reason we give you a couple of them is very clear. We want you to do one about yourself, and then we want you to pass them out to people that are close to you and ask them to do one on you. Now, Dave, I do see an inordinate amount of women on this broadcast, which tells me that you surround yourself with intelligent, bright people. So the one thing that I notice is that women more than men don't mind having their friends fill these out. Men tend to hesitate to ask people to please fill out an SWOT on me based on what you know about me and what you know about the industry. It's really common and a good idea to be having other people in your office or other people in your industry also fill them out, not just your friends and loved ones who aren't in real estate, but to get different perspectives about how other people out there see you versus how you see yourself. Now, I might go a little bit on the personal development side when I'm speaking to you, but one of the things that we cannot do, we can never see the world as it is. We really only see the world as we see ourselves. That's why if we reach out to people and ask them for their opinions on our strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, sometimes someone will open up a blind spot about us that we had not yet seen ourselves. So I'd love for you to consider that as you take those extra sheets and pass them out to your friends. I'm trying to see if we printed up all of them. We did. Okay. So now the next sheet is one of my favorites and one of the most difficult for people to fill out, because most people don't think in this range. So look down here. This one says, what's the bottom one say? Short-term 6-month plan. The middle one says midterm 1-year plan, and the long-term 5-year plan. Now, there's a reason why 5-year plan is at the top. Does anybody want to take a wild guess? Truett, Athena, Sunrise, Kendall, David, Henry. Okay, I'm hearing crickets. So I'll tell you the answer. How's that? So the answer is that if you really think big, think hairy, like I call it BHAG, big, hairy, audacious goals. Now, think about where you would like to be 5 years from now. Now, I know I just turned 60. 5 years from now, I do not plan on selling, listing real estate. By then, my team will have been inherited by someone else. They'll be taking it over. I'll be traveling 6 to 8 months of the year, speaking all over the United States, Canada, and the world, working with my wife and her business. Like, I got that in my head. I'm so clear on that vision. And if that's my vision for 5 years from now, what do? I go backwards so that what do I need to do in the next year and certainly in the next 6 months to get me there? I love when people tell me, oh, I'm going to sell 100 houses this year. And I go, great. Now, that's your big, hairy, audacious goal. Let's look at your to-do list. Now, I go over there to the to-do list, and it says they're going to sell 100 houses, and they're going to lead generate 3 hours a week. Do those two things go together? 100 houses in a year and 3 hours a week of lead generation, and the fact is, no, they don't. One is out of sync. So I can tell them either you change your goal or you change your to-do list. That's why these long-term goals are so important, because they help you set up what you're going to do today. And the biggest producers in real estate in the world and the smallest producers in the real estate world are not different because they're different people or they're smarter or they've had more schooling. They're only different because of one thing, and that is the activities that they focus on in a day. Simply put, that's it. No difference in brains, no difference in anything. So if you set out by starting with your 5-year plan, and if you want to throw in a 3-year, you're more than welcome to. I like to do a 5, a 3, a 1, and a 6 months. You're more than welcome to do that because it helps you get your focus and move it along as you go through it. All right? So I'm going to move on from that page, but that one is another very important one. Now, the personal objectives. This one, ladies and gentlemen, is, truth-facing. So it says personal, family, spiritual, and social. And you could look at those in any way you want. Sometimes we look at them as, physical. Spiritual isn't always religious. It's where you contribute back or where you come from contribution. Personal is just really you. Family is your relationships, and social is more out there, like family is your immediate close relationships. Now, you might say, like, I like to look up my relationships with everybody, whether they're family or people at work, because I am, listen to this, I am the common denominator of all the relationships I have. So if they're all messing up, don't look at the other person. Start wondering, well, I'm the common denominator of all those relationships. So when you look at this sheet, you want to really be filling it out saying, where am I missing things in my personal life? Am I spending time alone? Am I journaling? Am I going, to the gym? Am I reading? What am I doing for me alone? When do I get alone time? For family, have I called my mom? Have I called my dad and said, I love you and I miss you? Have I checked with my kids, my family, my brothers, my sisters? Do I make time for my children? One of my coaching clients has 8 kids, and she's the #1 real estate agent in the state of Georgia. 8 kids. And she's closing what did she close last year? I think we closed 1,400 transactions, something like that. It was, and she was talking about all these different things going on. I said, let's focus on the thing that's most important to you. And she immediately said, you mean time with my husband and kids. So when she's that clear that no matter what we're talking about, it's to gear her towards more time to her husband and kids, you got to be thinking about you, what's most important to you. Spiritual, again, that's either your religious beliefs or your contribution. Where are you giving back? Are you working on a nonprofit? Are you helping? Things like that. And then social is the part of your life where you go out there. My social life includes me and my wife and the people in her industry, the people in my industry, the people that we hang around in personal development. So you have to relate that to you. What are the important parts of your social life, and how are they adding to or subtracting from your business? So that form, again, super important. like to say that all of these pages are, and I keep saying that over, that one's very important. Now, we're going to get into the ones that really, really, really start to challenge you. This next sheet called the Goal Achievement System. This is a very, very important sheet in that it allows you to start looking at your 4 goals that you're going to have in your areas of different goals in either areas of your life, like these 4 that I gave you here: personal, family, spiritual, and social. Like if you decided to set goals in all of those, or you might have 4 goals as they relate to business in your business life. You might have one on your weight and your health and nutrition. You might have, you can decide what these 4 goals are. We're not dictating that for you. I have at least 4 goals alone just from my real estate team perspective, not counting one that I do for my speaking and for my coaching. So think about the different things you do and how you want to set up those goals and those objectives for yourself. Now, what I love about it says, why is this a goal? Look at those questions, ladies and gentlemen, on your sheet. It says, why is this a goal? Why is it so important to you? You really got to be clear on that, because you're never going to move forward to it unless you truly own it. You really know why you want it. Why is it so important to you? I can tell you over and over again, people go after things all the time, and I hope you'll listen to me on this one. People expected them to go after that, or your mom or your brother or your husband or your boyfriend or your girlfriend said, well, you're better than that. You should be doing this. You should be selling more houses. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't own it, if you don't believe it's you that deserves that, then you know what? It's not your goal and you won't buy into it. That's why it says, why is this goal important to you? So next one is your excuses for failure. Probably if this is a goal, this is something you've wanted for a while. So what excuses have you used for failure? And then what do you resolve to do? What's the different thing? What's your resolve this time over last time that you decided you wanted to do these things? And the last one, of course, is what are the specific action items? This sheet is going to make you more uncomfortable than almost anything we've done today. Remember, you're going to be doing these all alone, but it's great if you walk into the office, find someone else and said, let's sit down and do it together, and then we can challenge each other. We can challenge each other to think big and to go after things that we've never had before. So this goal sheet, and why it's one is simple. And what this is, for all of you to understand, is let's say that I had a personal phone call with Truett, and she said, Rick, I want to sell 50 houses next year. And if she told me she wanted to sell 50 houses next year, then we would take out this sheet and we would say, what's the one way that you'd most like to sell those houses? And let's say she said, I want to work my database. I want to just beat the heck out of my database and get 50 houses out of that. I want to sell 50 houses. Then great. Number 1 on this sheet would be database, sphere of influence, that kind of thing. Now, could she possibly get all of her goals, sell all 50 homes through her database? The answer is yes, she absolutely could if she worked it well. And we actually have a program called 86-50-1 that David can share with you, where you're able to sell 86 houses in a year by working with the top 50 people in your database 1 hour a day. Now, that's just an example. Now, I'd say to Truett, Truett, what's another way that you might want to get those 50 sales? And she might say, open houses. I'm really good at open houses. I go, okay, great. Well, number 2, we're going to write open houses. Now, could she sell 50 houses a year through doing open houses? Again, the answer is yes. What am I getting at here, ladies and gentlemen? That all 4 ways that you decide you're going to lead generate, or what we call your 4 pillars, these are your 4 pillars of volume, of money, of ways to sell houses. All 4 of them should individually be able to get you to your goal of 50 houses in a year. And she could go on to internet advertising. She could go on to geographical farming, door knocking, you name it. She could do it. And that's the beauty of this form. It's allowing you to look at what 4 ways will you concentrate on to get your business, and all 4 of them, when done well, could get you all 50 of your sales. All right, so I'm going to move on from that sheet to my least favorite sheet, is the cash flow budget worksheet. Now, why is this my least favorite? Well, you know what? I'm in a car right now, and my wife is driving. You can all say hi to my wife. And in our life, my wife handles the money, not me. Now she's mugging for that. All right. I didn't turn the camera that time. She did. Yeah, she goes, that's why we have money. So it's important that you understand, if this is your weakness, like it is mine, that you get help. Believe me, I got help. Of course, some of it took me a while to believe that I needed help, but I needed it and I got it. And luckily I married the help. So this is really for you to take a hard look at, because I used to be one of those real estate agents that believed if you had checks left in the checkbook, that probably meant there was money in the checking account, which I found out was not true. So the idea about this is understanding where's your money going to, and being careful about it. We always like to say, lead with revenue. Don't spend money on real estate activities that you didn't create from real estate activities. In other words, don't borrow money from someone else in the family and say, things aren't going well, I need to send out more postcards. Believe me, if things aren't going well, the last freaking thing you need to do is send out more postcards. Okay? So the most important thing about this is that it gets you in reality about what's going on with your money. Okay, since it's my least favorite form, we'll spend the least amount of time with it. Bye-bye. All right. Now, these action plan worksheets, there's 4 of them. There's one for everyone, and these are so critical because they put you in an uncomfortable area of having to stop and think about each goal that I set for myself. What are the action plans that are going to have to take place? I'm going to give you an example. I only have the examples of me, but last December, my wife and I decided that we weren't really feeling like $1 million. We were acting like we felt like $1 million, but truly deep inside we weren't. So we researched a different kind of a doctor, and we went and checked her out. And she said, well, you got to get your insides balanced. You guys keep worrying about weight and all of this, but really your weight's going to be a product of your insides being balanced. So we started paying more attention to our nutrition and how we supplemented our nutrition with supplements and things like that, with some help from her. And in the next 6 months, my wife lost 40 pounds and I lost 27. And people say, what kind of diet were you on? We're like, well, no, it wasn't really a diet. It was balancing our insides, and a side effect was that. But when the lady gave us an action plan of what we needed to do so that our insides could be balanced, folks, there is 17 items on this. She gave us an action plan that had like 37 items on it. It was crazy. And we looked at each other and we said, we're paying for this program. We damn well better execute all 37 of these things on the list. And we did. Every time we'd go to see her, she'd go, okay, I'm going to take out the list. Tell me which ones you didn't do. And we'd go, we did them all. She'd go, no, you didn't do them all. No, we did them all. We're paying you too damn much money to not do your 37 things. So this was a big deal for us, and understanding your action plan is a really big part of you moving towards those goals. Now, I'm going to skip through the rest of the action plans because we don't need to repeat all 4 of those. Let me, by the way, this is a first for me. I've never done a class in a car. Amazing. All right. Now, business marketing plan. Now, there's all kinds of good marketing plans here, and I got to tell you, I spend very little money on marketing, very little. And what I base that on is a percentage of how much income my real estate team brings in versus how much goes out. I only market 2 ways. I market through an internet lead generation program, 2 emails a month to everybody on my database. Somebody want to take a wild guess of how many people are on my database? Just somebody throw out a number.
20,000.
It's pretty close. It's 18,400. Thanks for the guess, David. And I should have told you, you don't get to answer.
I was gonna say the same thing.
That database is about 4,500 people that I know, and the rest are real estate agents all around the United States and Canada who either send me referrals, or they've heard me speak, or they've heard me coach. And I get a lot of referral business from those people. So the reason I'm saying that is that I want to understand, where am I spending money and which of these programs am I going to use to get me the most money? And so I farm. I use a Core Fact postcard for farming. And then I have 2 emails a month go out to my database. I use a company in Arizona called Follow Up Results, and they send out automatically 2 emails a month to everybody in my database. And that only costs me $175 a month. That's it. So I like to go with simple and effective things. I got 3 listing leads 2 months ago on my my monthly newsletters, and last month I got 2 listing leads. And those are just people that are on my list that I've either sold homes to, or they know me through my nonprofit work, or they know me through speeches or whatever. So the point is, this will really allow you to get clear on what you're going to spend money on and what you can do yourself without spending money on. Okay? For instance, if I asked you what's more efficient, calling or door knocking, the answer would be calling. It's more efficient because you don't have to move. You can get more calls done. But what do I like more? I like door knocking more than calling because I like the interface with the people. Yet it's not as effective or efficient as calling. So keep that in mind when you're looking at this list, and it'll tell you where to expend your efforts. And then last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, the career path. These are things that you are going to have and do so that you continue to be better in your industry. When I first joined the real estate industry, it was 1980, and my uncle had an office, and we all worked in my uncle's office. And my cousin and I got in about the same time, and he put us in his car, and we'd say, "Where are we going?" And he said, "You're coming with me. We're going to learn how to door knock today." And we turn a corner into a neighborhood we grew up in, and he says, "Okay, get out." And we're like, "Where are you going?" He goes, "I'm going to park the car." Well, he was lying. He wasn't going to park the car. He was leaving. He dropped us off, and he said, "I'll be back in 3 hours. Make sure you knock on as many doors as possible. And the one of you that knocks on the most number of doors with the best results, I'll buy you guys hamburgers and shakes." So, of course, when he picked us up, we both had great results. And even though my cousin beat me, he bought us all both hamburgers and shakes. And that was our lesson. Then we get back to the office, and he said, "There's your desk. There's a phone book in the drawer. And by the way, there's the phone. Good luck." That was all the training we got. But we understood from him that we had to go out on tour and see homes. We had to know the products. We had to understand what was out there, know the neighborhoods. We had to be enthusiastic about the business. We had to understand interest rates enough just to be able to pass them off to a loan agent. All of these things that he taught us about understanding our role in our business area. You can't be an idiot in this industry. If you have somebody that's an engineer, they want to know statistics. I hate statistics, yet I've learned to love them because I sell real estate in Northern California, and a good 70% of our buyers are engineers. We have Google, Facebook, Twitter, what else? Apple. Everything's within miles of my office, so we have to be ready to deal with a lot of engineers. Same thing in your business. You have to be ready for the marketplace you're in and understand what's important. So that's pretty much all I have for you. We have a couple of minutes for questions, so if you've got some questions, this is a good time to ask them. And don't all ask them at once, really. You guys have been so noisy today. No one? Nada? Crickets?
I'd like to put on social media.
So Tresha in the office is asking about social media.
Sure, talk to me. I'll do the best I can, even though that's one of my weak points. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to ask what your favorite platform is and where you find the most results if you use it.
My favorite platform so far, and it's really just started to be my favorite platform, is I use a CRM called Boomtown, and they do a lot of Facebook ads, and those Facebook ads are working for me. Yet I'm also starting to boost my real estate page on Facebook, and I'm learning more about boosting organically, meaning what you can do yourself to get your posts boosted without paying money. So I personally think right now Facebook is the strongest in terms of returning. And I think for your return on your dollar, even talking to most of the coaches in our coaching company, that a lot of people are seeing the best return on your dollar is that. Now, that's strictly social media. When we talk about return on the dollar for where you're investing money to get leads, I'm not a big advocate of buying leads, yet at the same time, it depends on where your business is and how many buyer's agents you have and what works best for your business. So I do buy leads through Boomtown, and it keeps my 4 buyer's agents very busy. And I don't call that social media, I call that internet advertising. So I hope that answered both the question you asked and maybe one that you didn't ask.
Yes, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Anybody else? Mike?
Okay.
Sylvia? Chris?
I think I'm good, thank you.
Anybody online? Anybody calling in have a question?
How often do you update your workbook into
I didn't hear that. Is that you, Athena, talking?
How often do you update your workbook? Do you revisit it monthly, yearly?
That's a great, great question. Minimally once a quarter. Okay, I'm always scratching it out, changing. But what I encourage people to do is to look at January 1st as one goal setting time and July 1st as another setting. July 1st is the beginning of the second half of the year. And I always like to reanalyze my goals, set bigger ones, look at what I did in the first half of the year. You know, take a really good look at how you were, what you said you were going to do versus what you did. So minimum twice, minimum. That's what I advise anybody. But if you could do it once a quarter, take a hard look at it. In my wife's business, she's got a very sales-oriented, social media-based business. She's looking at her numbers every single day, several times a day, and saying, how can I adjust? How can I push more? What more people can I talk to? So most people would call that insanity. They're like, oh my God, I'd rather poke myself in the eye with a needle. But it really, really leads to her success. And in her industry, she's one of the top people in the world. So she's like, gets it. So when I watch her do that, I go, what can I be doing differently to allow myself to be more on top of my goals and the numbers that I'm creating?
So Rick, this is Michael. I actually have a question for you. In what ways and how do you follow up on existing customers? What does Rick do on a follow-up?
Okay, well, that's a good question for Rick because Rick is a freaking hound dog when it comes to follow-up. Everything through Dave can share this with you, but through our company, we have something called Lead Tracker. And the Lead Tracker, every lead we have goes in there, and we put in the date. Nobody gets hung up with or ends a conversation without having another phone call or another appointment set up. The other thing I do is when somebody is avoiding me, I hound them. We like to say we're going to call them until they buy or sell or tell us to die. And the reason is, like, if somebody's going to, put a restraining order on me or tell me to get off, that's great. But most of my people that I'm following up with, we had a great connection. They're seriously thinking of doing something, and I'm going to ride them till they do. Now, in my business, I'm mostly dealing with sellers because my buyers agents handle the buyers. Yet when I get referred somebody and they say, we're going to buy, and my average sale price is approaching $1 million this year, we're not letting $1 million buyer just sit in the wings without communicating with them on a regular basis. So I use Lead Tracker. I put everything in my calendar. If it's something even more important and I'm worried I'll forget it, I'll set an alarm in my phone. I have a guy I've been trying to follow up with for 2 or 3 days. I even have my assistant send me 2 or 3 texts a day until I call him, until I can text her back and say, okay, it's done. So she texted me 4 times about him yesterday. I had no time in my day to get to him. She texted me again at 11 p.m. last night. And I said, push this one till tomorrow and keep reminding me tomorrow, and I will get the call done today. So I do everything. I know my weaknesses, and my weaknesses are organization, and that's why I have an amazingly organized assistant. Does that help, Michael?
Perfectly. Understand. Thank you. Very
You're welcome.
I'm Michael Estridge.
That's right.
That's what Michael Estridge said, and that's the truth.
Amen.
Anybody else have any questions? Well, thank you, Rick, for doing this with us.
Yeah.
Family emergency, and I appreciate you fitting that in.
No worries. And Dave, thank you for doing this for yourself, for everybody there. And for me, I always learn from it. I'm going to encourage all of you that are on the phone listening today to go out and find somebody from another company that you know and give them a copy of this and say, let's work on it together. The more you get further apart where your life is not affected by the person who you're helping do their business plan and their life is not affected by your outcomes, those are the best people to do your business plan with, because you can hold each other accountable without being emotionally involved as to whether or not they did or didn't do what they said. So go out and make it amazing, guys. We got another 60 days left in the year, and man, we could kill it. You could sell 3, 4, 5 more houses this year. So let's do that. All right.
Thanks, Rick. I'll talk to you next week.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
You have to